Look, first of all, and I think if you guys were out there, that's the best overall crowd we've had. Not the most, right? Not number wise, but like that was the best crowd we've had all year. That was awesome. The atmosphere was awesome, and I don't. Maybe it was because we kept it more entertaining. I don't exactly know, but that was I love that crowd. That reminded me of the good old days. Best crowd all year. So I appreciate everybody for coming out, but. I really, you're going to think I'm crazy. I thought it was never in doubt. I thought we had to shore up some things, and even talking to Savannah at halftime, I was like, nah, that's we just got to take what we do and do it better. And they came with it. They were hungry. I got a lot of respect for where they were as far as Coastal, and they came out ready to roll. And we it took us a while to adjust to how desperate, hungry they were playing. And they were, but I thought we really after about the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, I thought we finally got our footing and kind of slowly kind of chipped away and took control. Even though I know we were still down, but to me it was like we figured out what we have to do, and we were starting to do it. So shout out Roe Scott. I thought Roe was awesome today. Plus 19 in a 7-point win. That's really hard to do. That's being a big reason that we won. So I'm proud of her for a couple reasons too, and then I'll be quiet. But I thought she really took ownership of her mistakes early, and they were doing a good job isolating us on drives. And when she made a mistake, she was very quick to say my bad. And I believe in that. I believe in the ownership of that. And I think with that ownership, it allowed her to bounce back and make the next play. And I thought she ended up being really clutch for us down the stretch. So I'm proud of her today.
You're talking about them coming in a little desperate, and obviously they had a ton of energy to begin with. And
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of look at the whole week for you, the way Southern Miss played. Do your players kind of have to change gears a little bit, going from your non-conference schedule where you play a lot of games where you're the underdogs or you're playing very evenly matched teams, to now getting everybody's best shot the way they are? And how difficult is that for a group of players to kind of have that be very different in conference play?
It is, and it is difficult. But what's the Kurt's gonna help me. Heavy lies the crown, right? When you're in first place, it's just what you're going to get, especially if you're in first place at 6-3. It's a little different than that right now, the 9-0, right? And Georgia Southern's seeing it right now. And so what I'm trying to get accomplished with our team, and it will be a challenge for our team. It will be a challenge for our coaching staff to keep our team challenged and sharp, because as much as I say it, yeah, they're looking at the standings too. It's like, and it's like you're fighting human nature, right? You're fighting that we're good. We beaten Villanova at Villanova. We can take care of such and such. No, right? I'm trying to get them to understand there's a bigger goal here, and we're not. Yeah, we're playing Coastal today, but we're always playing ourselves, and we're trying to improve. We're trying to be the best rebounding team we can be, the best defensive team. So, that's what I'm trying to get them to understand. I think it's really hard fighting human nature and fighting 18 to 20. We probably got 24-year-olds on our team. 18 to 24-year-olds, just their mentality of we're going to be okay. We'll be fine, right? No, be careful, right? Because if you don't, it still comes down to putting the ball in the basket, right? And so if you're unable to do that in the fourth and we end up losing, it's a different feeling right now. But it wasn't, and it's we found a way to do the things that make us good, and we found a way to win. But it's going to be a constant challenge. I think the rest of the way, no matter what.
Well, then how do you kind of balance what you just talked about as far as thinking you're good with having the confidence and the being comfortable being down in the fourth quarter, knowing, hey, we're still going to win?
Good point. And you just do, right? I hate to say it like that, but you just do. I think every coach in the team wants their team to be confident, right? You want it when we walk into the gym at Georgia Southern. I want our team to be like, yeah, we're going to win this game. But there's a level, right, to where it becomes cockiness or entitlement. It's not it can't get there. It's got to be like, yeah, we're really good at this. Let's be really good at it. And we talked a lot from the Southern Miss game to now. So one day, about like keep trusting each other and sharing the ball. And that's what I thought we did that today. And it was a perfect time for it because they create all this chaos. Like you see, you're getting trapped constantly. It's like, wait, can we run a play right now? I don't know where they are. And so like, I thought when we're sharing the ball in offense, when we're being tough on the glass and we're being where we should be on the defensive end, I think we're really tough to beat. But I love Mike Tomlin, man. It's not what you're capable of. We're capable of a lot of things. It's what you're willing to do to get those things. And so, like, they've got to understand, we all have to, staff, players, everybody has to understand what we have to do to keep earning wins and not being entitled to anything because of our record, right? And so there is a balance, and you just try your best to keep them right there, right? Like even in practice, you gotta have a good practice today, so you go have a good performance, right? And yeah, the challenge is don't get tired of that, don't get bored of that, that's I think a lot of people are challenged in different ways, all over the country in different ways.
Throughout most of your wins throughout the year, some of the big common tendencies that you see, you're ahead in the offensive rebound category, points in the paint, second chance. But then you look at the stat sheet today, you guys were actually behind on that. Just the adaptability of this team, especially playing less than 48 hours ago, to be able to see your players be able to adapt in different ways. What does that say to you as a coach?
Yeah, we got great resilience and proved it, right? And that was a challenge. And we talked about it. I just talked to Corey a little bit. It's like, yeah, it is unbalanced, right? Like Coastal got a 3-day prep. We got a 1-day prep. It's tough. Life gets harder than that, right? So like, all right, they're gonna be fresher. Okay, so what are they doing? What's working for them? Let's figure that out. And that's where I think our leadership and maturity. Like I thought our leadership today was awesome, and I thought how we received it too was awesome. And it's player huddles, in the fourth where I'm looking at them like, yeah, we're gonna be all right here, because there was no pull apart. It was pulled together. Even at halftime, there was a pull together. It wasn't like, man, no, it wasn't any of that stuff. It was like, all right, we got to fix. We know what we got to fix. Let's fix it, and we got to be better than this.
One player from today, Shush, felt like the second half, just the intensity just ramped up a lot. Typically, maybe with the turnaround, you'd think the second half's maybe where you'd see a little let of the gas tank's getting a little empty. What did you just see out of her so far, and just how big a performance?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought we should have thrown it to her more. I thought she was pretty unstoppable in the second half. But again, the growth she's had. The fact that they're doubling down off of her and she's throwing it back out and reposting, and they do it again, throw it out, repost, like that's where the maturity comes in. That's where the trust of like, no, if I kick it out and I'm open again, yeah, P's going to throw it right back to me. And so she was huge for us down the stretch offensively. And I mean, we needed them all. I'd love to know. I actually would bet. I feel like I thought she was going to have like 20 points, but I don't look at the points during the game. But I bet you those 4 field goals were all pretty close to the fourth or late third, I would bet, right? Okay. But I'm just proud of her, man. I think being a post is like the toughest – I think it's the toughest position in basketball because you can't give the ball to yourself, right? And you got to work and you got to battle Alancia Ramsey constantly and push and do all this, and like you might not get the ball. So I give her a lot of credit. She's grown a lot. The fact she ends up with 10 boards is a huge thing for us.
Throw some numbers at you here from three-point shooting tonight. They hit 2 of their first 3. They finished 4 for 28. Your last 4 combined games, you've given up 17 threes on 109 shots. Is that good?
Last I checked. Let me do the math here.
That's 15.5%, by the way.
That's good. No, it is. And I was really proud of our effort. I mean, they had 4 threes at the half, which was more than what they made all last game against us, and they didn't score another one. I believe 0 for 15 in the second half. But again, it's just the aggression, right? We're playing with a lot of aggression in the second half. I thought we really, as much as you say, hey, you got to go over when Kristen Williams comes off, it's like, yeah. But, oh, there it is. There's a 3. And it's like, no, I told you. Now you're making the adjustments. I thought we made adjustments and just understood how fast we needed to move. But, yeah, they're tough, Kurt. They're tough, man.
When they grab these long rebounds, their team takes a lot of threes. There are going to be some long boards. Does that give you any angina? When these long rebounds come out and your opposition, how do you defend against that?
It's really hard. And I mean, constantly the last 40 hours was like long shots, long rebounds. Remember, don't just run to the rim. Long shots, long rebounds, long shots. And they still didn't do it early. It's still like, yeah, okay, well, all right, that bounced. And it's like, I think Coastal gets prep of that because they play like that all the time. So they're chasing it down, and it is a really hard thing. And again, I thought we did a good job second half on the glass. I think it was 18 on their offensive end. I think it was 18 defensive rebounds to their 6 offensive rebounds, that's a 75% rebound rate versus the first half. It was like 50-50, and I was ready to throw a water bottle. But again, adjustments. And to your point, it's like we're making those adjustments and we're understanding the value, which we have to make those adjustments, how it's going to win you the game or lose you the game.
I think your foes are 24% off their offensive glass, so this was a much higher number. I wanted to excerpt a play that Missy and I talked about during the game, and it involved Rose Scott. Late in the game, it ends up a 3-on-1 break, and she takes it herself. Your thoughts on that particular play? I'm just curious.
Yeah, this is what I believe as a coach, right? I believe that, number one, like I believe in her in that situation. And does it make more sense to pull it out? Maybe. But like, man, you got an opportunity for a layup and an and one, and the roof is going to fly off this place. Take it, because I believe she's going to make it. I believe she's going to get an and one because I've seen her do it. Now, if I didn't believe that, I would have grabbed her myself and been like, hey, slow down. But like, no, man, if you guys I don't know if you remember, but like we're at Villanova. I believe it's minute 40, minute 20 to go. Zakiah has a 2-on-1, throws it behind the back pass. And it's like, all I'm doing is clapping. Because like, no, man, I think you have to be able to take those risks with confidence. And like, I believe she's going to make it. And I thought she would have. And now, 1-point game, I don't think she does it. Her IQ is incredibly high. And I think the first thing she said was, my bad, I should have ran clock. I'm like, no, make that thing. Let's go, man. And it's like, that's who I am, right? It's just who I am. And I'm not going to yell at her, what were you doing? No, man, I thought it was a very high percentage shot that she didn't end up coming up with. And she put a little fancy one hand on it too, Kurt. I know, but it would have been better, right, if she gets an and one or makes it. But I want her to play with confidence at all times, and I think that's all part of it.
Yeah, again, Southern Miss, you guys were plus 13 in the fourth quarter. Today, plus 11. And with Rose Scott and Payne McDaniel getting 4 of the 5 blocks, just talk about what they provided in the fourth quarter. It seemed like they had a great duo and just like balance going on during that final quarter.
Yeah, they're just really engaged. And when they're really engaged, it makes the other 3 also really engaged. And they both have very, very different personalities. But I just thought I was really impressed with, like, I thought Peyton was pretty steady throughout the game, but I thought Rowe really bounced back from a couple of defensive mistakes. That's what makes me so proud of her, is that, it could be head down, it could be bad body language. It wasn't. It's like, look, I screwed that up. Look, I'm good. I'll make the adjustment. I thought she was really trying to be in a stance, next play. And I'd love to measure her. She acts like she can't jump high. And, like, some of those rebounds, she's getting off the floor now. So I'm going to expect that from her the rest of the way. I mean, she gets up when she wants to.
Yeah, last thing, just with some of the threes, McDaniel going 5 for 11, the rest of your team, went 1 for 9. Just talk about that boost she gave just with being able to add those extra points.
Yeah, I love she hit 2 in a row and then she shot the third, and it was like, come on, baby. Look, there's no better shooter I'm ever going to coach. I hope there is somewhere along the way, but like I've said it to her from the moment she got here, she'll be the best shooter I ever coach. And I believe every time she shoots a 3, it's going in. But I'm glad last time we went down there, she was 0 for 5 from 3. So I'm glad she finally got going. They made it hard, but yeah, to come up with a double-double is as important for me, or as valuable for me with the 10 rebounds, because I keep being on her about her rebounds. She's letting her rebounds slip a little bit. I'm going to keep that thing double digits.
Is the mic on?
I can hear it.
Okay. So, I mean, tonight, throughout the whole game, Coastal, they've been playing bully with their full court press.
Mm-hmm.
So, overall, like, despite despite being down the entire game, like how did y'all like kept it close and then overcome the full court press?
Yeah, the press is bothersome, right? And it wears you down, and it's they've got two different ones, which is enough to kind of screw you up, right? If it's just the man-to-man, space is your friend. We want to clear them out so they can't run and jump you. If it's the 2-2-1, it gets a little bit. You got to have somebody in the middle, and I thought that kept us off kilter just a little bit. And it's relentless, man. You can't just sit and get to. I got my play calls right here in my pocket. You don't get to do all that all the time because they'll just run and trap you. So there's a readiness to it. There's a flashing back, right? Help your teammate out type of idea that we talked about quite a bit. But again, I thought the bounce back was key with that. I mean, Bree's turnover late, I thought she responded really well from that, right? And you're going to make mistakes, man. No one's perfect here. But I thought overall, we wanted 15 turnovers or less. We got 16. Not bad, right? We wanted to hold them under 8 threes. We did. So, that's one of the things that press break and transition defense were two of our biggest keys. And I thought we, for the most part, did okay with that. I mean, you turned over sometimes, but I did. As long as I was really proud of myself for not calling a timeout to start the game because we did not look like we were ready for that.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, for somebody that might follow the basketball team throughout the season, compared to last week, it was y'all dominated by 20 points, but this time tonight it was very close, and y'all were down pretty much the majority of the game. So pretty much entering the game, did you have any similar game plan, or how did your game plan adjusted throughout the game?
Yeah, well, I just thought Coastal was more ready to go, and I thought it's a weird thing, right? You're coming off of a game on, I don't even know what day it is, Friday night. You're coming off a game Friday night, so you're not going to have the same bounce that Coastal's going to have, right? That's one reason. But I thought they were hungry. They were hungry. I mean, they hadn't been fed in a couple weeks. You know what I mean? They were ready to go, man, and they were ready. And it's good for them. And I think it's hard to beat a team twice. Hard to sweep a team, right? It's certainly harder to beat a team 3 times because human nature, right? You're gonna be okay, I got to get better right here. So they came for us today, and I just thought we bent, but we didn't break.